there are no perfect women in the world, but all men
Mm-hmm.
are perfect. It is rare you hear a man say, I was wrong, I cheated, and this is why I get the reaction I get from my wife now because I cheated. No, 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 no. All men are perfect. If you check, there's always something wrong with the wife.
All right, guys and gals and guys, welcome back. This is Marriage Matters, and this segment is geared toward preparing the women
Yeah.
for dating and relationship. And so I'm gonna give it to you just to jump right in with some of your points and some of the practicality of when it comes to the woman testing the man, because we and again, just coming back to that analogy that's fitting with the eagle and the female eagle using a twig or a branch rather, that's the
Yeah.
weight of an eaglet, and testing the male to see if he's capable of providing and protecting and helping in raising the family. So Mr. Arthurs, what do you have for us today in terms of the practicality of the woman testing in the relationship?
Well, before I continue, I'd like for you to repeat that statement you made just now with the eagle.
Aha. The
It's worth
statement.
repeating.
Where the female eagle uses a branch the weight of an eaglet, and she tests the male by taking that branch to some height and letting it go on to see if he can catch it, right? And that's a test to see if he's capable of providing and protecting and partnering for life in raising their family. So yeah,
Awesome.
I
I
hope I
like it.
repeated it right.
I like it. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing that if the eagles can use that level of care,
right,
you know, we
right.
humans we can do better. We can do much better. You know.
I agree.
So I like that. And so this complete idea or set of videos that encourages females on how to be like this eagle. This is encouragement. Be like an eagle, a female eagle. Be like that eagle. There's no need to feel bad, to feel guilty, to feel that you know that you are overdoing when you are testing to make sure that this person that you're going to mate with can take care of your family, can take care of your kids. That is some serious forward thinking.
Yeah, very
That's
much
amazing.
So. Very much so.
Yeah. So well, yeah, today in terms of the testing and not over testing, there is what there should be a testing limit. And I know we began on
That's
this
good. That's good.
in the past. But there should be a limit. And there are very few things that are good when you overdo them. There's always the issue of balance and the issue of moderation.
Right,
that sort of thing.
Sure.
So when it comes to testing, we want to look at some reasons or some I'll stick with limits to be safe. There's some limit that you should exercise.
Okay.
And in the past, there's a saying that you should not throw out the baby with the bathwater.
I've heard that, yeah.
So the principle that we want to look at today is keep the baby.
Keep the baby.
Keep the baby. Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater.
Yeah.
And don't destroy the product. Sorry. Let me repeat that because I have written down. So let me say it the proper way. Destroy the product, not the manufacturing plant. So you can repair, you can adjust, and again, the female should not be adjusting anything, but the plant can be adjusted to bring out a proper product. So whatever a man produced, the man that you're looking at, it's a product that he's going to produce. His attitudes, they are products. product of his
Mm-hmm.
thought patterns, his belief
Mm-hmm.
system,
Mm-hmm.
product of how he was trained, how he was brought up, product
Mm-hmm.
of his experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so if the product is not good, don't
Mm-hmm.
destroy the manufacturer or the
Mm.
manufacturing plant.
Right.
That can be adjusted. And so
Yes.
that is the heart behind this whole thing of not overdoing
The
the
testing.
testing and
Right.
having a limit.
Mm. Mm. I'm thinking as we're talking about testing, what is the I'm trying to frame this question around a word in my mind as we're thinking about testing, and this word popped in my mind, um, being paranoid. I mean, I could see that being something that can fuel over testing. Um,
Yeah,
and I guess um it's so dynamic when I think about the word. I could see potentially a female being paranoid in this process, because maybe her, maybe some negative experience with a male before would be feeding some paranoia or paranoid. Maybe it was an abusive father to her mom, or a stepfather, right?
yeah,
Or an uncle, or it could be a woman that had a bad relationship in the past, and now it's like, look, I want to get back out there, I want to move on. I think I've been in this unhealthy relationship for years. I've had a season of singleness where I felt maybe I'm restored, healed, and I'm ready to go again. But
yeah,
you know, you, some things are ruffled or come to the surface until you get into it. So what would you say, or what advice would you give with a woman who is paranoid could easily get in. It's like every little thing is being overtaught, every little thing is being over examined. How would you advise, and what would you say, or what comes to your mind when that word, paranoid comes? Because it could happen. So what are your thoughts? I'm trying my best to frame the question as as
yeah,
concise
yeah.
as possible.
Yeah, I respect that question. I like that question. I like it because it's a it's an argument actually that is
Mm,
constantly brought to me
mm,
as a challenge to the principles
yes.
that I believe have been recorded in the manual.
Mm,
And so many
mm,
people believe that if a young lady's boyfriend or mate whatsoever used to cheat on her, that she
mm,
tends to bring that baggage to you and she's always jealous. So the new boyfriend has a
mhm,
problem
mhm, mhm,
because she
mhm,
will never trust him because of her past
mhm,
experiences, etc.
mhm, mhm,
Um, uh, it could be that in a person's past they were assaulted,
mhm, mhm,
and
mhm.
there may be cases where they have not been healed, didn't
Right.
get the opportunity to meet with a counselor and get healing. And so men would and even women
Mhm,
looking on from the outside would tend to want to say that because of
mhm,
the past experience of this person,
mhm,
she's now damaged and paranoid, since you're using that
mhm,
word.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
I see it differently.
Okay.
So for me, it depends on who you're talking about. If you're talking
Right.
about the male, I
Mhm,
would say something different than if you're talking about the female.
mhm,
If a female
mhm.
is paranoid, I say let her be.
Okay.
If you are paranoid, mommy, keep your paranoia.
Okay.
Keep it. Because you are more sensitive to that than the next lady.
Mhm,
That
mhm, mhm,
that
mm,
area will bother you more than it would bother someone else. It might mean nothing to someone else.
mhm, mhm, mhm,
But
mhm,
for you,
mm,
that
mm,
is a big thing. And so
mm,
I say keep it.
mhm,
To
mm,
the male,
mhm,
I would say if
mhm,
your girlfriend, your wife is paranoid, then you need to
mm,
check your
mm,
behavior. You need to check what you
mhm,
are creating. You need to check the environment that you are producing
mm,
for your wife or your girlfriend to live in.
mm,
So it's, we're talking about two different things.
mhm,
My
mhm,
belief is that if you are living in darkness and someone that is paranoid, they have been living in darkness where they have been abused, misused in some way that caused them to be paranoid. Even if they're watching movies that
Yeah.
keeps them in paranoia. But I'm just saying
Yeah.
that they have been living in darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And it is very, very easy. If you have been living in darkness, it is very, very easy to know when light comes on.
Mm.
It will
That's
hurt your
powerful.
eyes.
That's
It
good.
will hurt your eyes. You will have to, your pupils will have to get, I think they shrink so that it rejects some of the light, too much light coming in. When you're in darkness, your pupil, they enlarge, and I believe, so they can let in more light that you can try to see, although it's dark. So the more light comes, the more you have to it's something I don't think the human has control over, but it's like a involuntary action, I believe, where your pupil will the word dilate is on my mind, but I'm not sure if that's correct, but they will get smaller to
Yeah.
block some of the light. And the brighter the light, the smaller they have to get. And
Mm-hmm.
if the pupil cannot handle it, then you will have to use your facial muscles and squint your eyes
Yeah,
to
like
block
squint.
out the
Yeah.
light.
Sure.
So
Sure.
there is no question when light comes.
Mm. Mm.
And
Mm.
even the strongest darkness cannot
Mm-hmm.
handle a little light.
Mm-hmm.
You see, it doesn't matter how dark it is. If you have the weakest of light,
Mm-hmm.
the darker it is, the
Mm-hmm.
brighter that light is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sure. Sure. I really like your response because I'm thinking here, and my question was pretty much framed to encourage try to encourage women who've had, and I think we kind of alluded to this in our previous episode, but I wanna say, you know, to women who are dating, considering getting back out there and maybe have had rough experiences.
Yeah.
I want to say don't let your paranoia keep you prisoner. Let your paranoia make you more prudent. And I think that's what I hear
Right.
you saying. Don't let paranoia or being paranoid make you, and that was really a huge part of my heart in the question, because you know I could see where someone wants to move forward, but then certain signals or things around what happened, things in their mind are connecting, and they
Yeah.
want to pull the eject button, and they're pulling the eject button on what could actually potentially be a good family in the future and a good union in the
Yeah.
future, and they're pulling the eject women are pulling the eject button because they're seeing certain signs, and they pull out rather than, and so for me I would say that's what I'm saying, don't let your paranoia or what happened keep you prisoner,
Yeah.
but let it make you more prudent. Like you were saying,
Right.
it heightens that sensitivity. Um, and I know we're not gearing towards men, but I want to insert just a slight encouragement for any male who may come across this, and I want to say you use that as a you could also use that, I want to use the word redeem it, that woman's paranoia for your advantage, and don't, not that you have to wear a burden of proving yourself, but prove who you are. If you know who you are and you know you mean well, it's gonna show, and you, sir, can be a part of this young lady's healing. I
Yeah.
want to say you can be a part of her moving forward if you do it right. So I know it's not geared to the male, but I wanted to add that because hopefully it lands on somebody, a guy's ear or heart, that you can be a part of her moving forward.
Right.
If you know you do it with wisdom and love and grace. So yeah, great answer to the question, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I see where you're coming from, and I also don't want to be off balance
Sure.
here, and I don't want to be careless either.
Right, right,
So
right, right.
there may be times when a person might need professional help.
Oh, yes. Yes,
And
good point.
yeah, so when you said take advantage, I also like that, because if you meet someone or you're with someone, you're already with them and you feel that they're paranoid. If you
Mm-hmm.
see that it is something that needs attention,
Yeah.
then you can take advantage of redeeming that. and I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to say you get the praise for it, but
Right.
that's another something that draw you closer together to that
That's right.
person because you saw it and you helped with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it does not
Exactly.
change what I see. Many times
Mm.
I see men who are lacking or they are doing things that should not be done,
Mm.
and they turn around and what we call gaslight the
Mm.
woman.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so when
Mm-hmm.
they say these things about women being paranoid or bringing their past relationship in, they're finding a way to blame the woman because they actually
Mm.
genuinely believe they're doing everything right, and there are no perfect women in the world, but all men are
Mm-hmm.
perfect. It is rare you hear a man say, I was wrong, I cheated, and this is why I get the reaction I get from my wife now because I cheated. No, 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 no. All men are perfect. If you check,
Mm-hmm.
there's always something wrong with the wife. It started with Adam.
Mm.
The manufacturer came, why did you eat the fruit? It's not me,
Mm-hmm.
My wife gave me to eat, you know. All men are perfect, you see. But nevertheless, uh, this is what I'm trying to address here, that if you are used to darkness and
Mm-hmm.
you see light, you will
Mm.
immediately eat, your body will respond, your perception, because remember
Mm-hmm.
your eye, we have physical eyes, but it is not as
I like that.
important as your
Yeah.
perception,
Yeah.
which is being able to see what many times your physical eye can't see.
Mm. Mm.
And so
Mm.
if you are around someone, you have been in darkness and someone comes that has light, that means that this man is ready for marriage. He is
Mm-hmm.
prepared, he is trained, he understands woman needs,
Mm.
he understands
Mm-hmm.
how to treat women, he's
Mm-hmm.
courteous, he has
Mm-hmm.
a job, and I could go on and go on with all that this man
Yeah.
has.
Yeah.
The poor lady, will have to squint her eyes because of the excessive light that she's seeing. You see?
Yes. Yes.
And you don't have to
I like
ask a
that.
question, you don't have to go to a
Yes.
counselor to see if this person, your paranoia will be damaged. Let me tell you what the manual
Mm-hmm.
says.
Mm.
And I'm so in love with the manual. I'm
Mm.
sorry. I can't apologize about it. You
Yeah.
see? Because it is so good.
It's rich.
You know what the manual says? The manual says that perfect love casted out all paranoia.
Mm.
You see, once there is love and perfect love, mature love, fear is gone. And I'm happy
Mm.
that it is given to
That's
love,
good.
because that
That's
is what
good.
the man is called to do.
That's good.
And if you're loving that woman perfectly, there's no room for paranoia. The same way, once there's light, there's no room for darkness. You see?
Man, that's good. You know, I remember just at this point, I remember a while ago, this is a while ago, discussing with a friend and talking about this story. So it's not necessarily an uncommon story, but
Yeah.
it was one where they there were these prisoners for years, and one got free and saw the light. They were like prisoners. That's all the life they knew. And so they I think they were in this underground place for some time.
Hmm.
That's all they knew. It was the bars, it was darkness. They didn't know life beyond that. And one person got away, and
Wow.
saw the light, and it's like, man, there's more to, no, I gotta go back and set them free. And so when he went back to say, guys, there's life above here, there's light out here, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
They I think they killed him, or yeah.
Wow.
And so it was like, what are you talking about? We don't want change. This is what we're used to, this is what we know.
Hmm.
What are you talking about with there's no better than this, there's no other alternative to this. And what I like about your analogy is what we're trying to encourage, that because a lot of times, I hear, with good reason, I hear what women would say in our culture, like, all men are dogs. um
Yeah.
it's like there is no genuine guy out there.
Wow.
And what I'm hearing, and I love your analogy, and that's why I raise the story. It's like don't miss what could actually be for you genuinely in a relationship going forward. You know, it's just another encouragement again there as you raise it, which I thought was an excellent analogy.
Yeah,
So,
and I have to say that if a lady feels that something is wrong with you, even when you say don't miss an opportunity, if you have to be asking yourself a question, is that light?
Right.
If you are not sure that is a light, then maybe it's not a light. Because once that light is shining and it is shining the way it should shine, you don't need to ask. If you open the door and the light is off, you know the light is off. You don't have to ask. Is the light off? You don't have to ask. You know, you can see that it's off. You put on the light, you will know the light is on. So this is almost an automatic thing with a female. She might not be able to explain it, but she knows if the light is off.
Yeah.
And I want to say that you made a statement earlier that's important to me. You said about a lady she have had a bad experience and she's getting back out there. And I find that to be an interesting statement because the same problem I see one place, I see another place. But go ahead, let me hear.
No, you wanted to elaborate on that point, or you want me to repeat it again?
No, I had a thought on it.
Yeah, go ahead. No, please.
So,
I want to.
Yeah, the word getting back out there, I find it as a problem because the same thing we have with men, we have with women. So a man comes to a lady and say, you know what, I love you, baby. You are the light of my world. You know, you're the person. Without you, I can't live a day, and blah blah blah. And so the lady says, okay, I like that. I'll take you on. So she says, well, am I your first woman? No, you're not my first woman. What happened in the last? Well, that person was bad in the last relationship. Oh, she was toxic. She was this, she was that. And many times, women carelessly, like seriously, women carelessly choose men. You see? And it is nothing less than carelessness. Because you chose the first man without doing proper testing, and now you're choosing the second one. He's telling you that the woman was toxic. If you understand the principle, you'll understand that a woman is a mirror. So if that woman was toxic, who is making her toxic?
There was no level of, well, you know, I contributed to our ending because no, that you listen, hold on. That right there is solid wisdom and advice and practically going, man, that's goal right there. Like, if you see a guy saying it was his fault, not like, no, I just wanted to highlight that. That's excellent. That's a good gem of practically applying some. Sorry, go ahead. I had to get that. That was good.
No, I agree. And the thing is that a lot of women feel like they're the savior of men. Right. Oh, I want do you what she did you.
Yes.
So basically,
oh baby.
yeah, that exactly. So basically what that lady is saying, your old girlfriend was a mirror. But I'm not a mirror. I won't be a mirror. So you just be your normal self. Remember, men are perfect. You did nothing wrong. She's a bad woman. You know? She was being a mirror to you. I won't be a mirror. You don't worry. You can do exactly what you were doing before.
Wow.
So women are also repeat offenders because they choose the first one without doing proper testing. And then in marriage, suddenly they become testers.
Yeah.
You see?
Very good.
They break up with that one. And then here comes another one. And the woman repeat the same bad behavior. She does not test. This is a problem.
I know. I'm glad that these you see, and again, I'm so appreciative of what you're saying because of how practical it is. Don't be a repeat offender as a woman. You know, don't don't I always tell people you'll either grow old or you'll grow wise. And
Ah,
and I find a lot of people and I usually say this when I'm talking especially to young to youth and young people. I say, guys, don't just grow old in life, grow wise.
yeah,
It's just difference. And I say, well, one of the main things is people that just grow old keep making the same mistakes over and over. They made a mistake at 19 and they made the mistake again at 39.
hmm,
And then I'm not talking, maybe a slight mistake in maybe I overspent or whatever. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking like you're making some of the same detrimental life decisions.
yeah,
Like, and so I said, but wise people stop and say, all right, I made a mistake here. What can I learn and how can I go forward the right way? You
right.
grow wise when you apply that discipline, and
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
reflecting is a discipline and it's a good one. And
Yeah,
so I want to say to that, like, those just don't grow old. um like you said, I repeat offenders over and over and over and over. Then you
mm-hmm.
know what happens after a while, Mr. Arthurs? Women come to a conclusion and say there's nobody out there, forget it. but
Yeah,
but just don't grow old, grow wise. I was
yeah,
talking the other day, I said, you could meet somebody who's in their 40s and still a teenager at heart.
yep.
Their outlook at life, the way they live, they
Mm-hmm.
never slow down or stop to say, man, where am I headed? How can I learn from this? They don't do that. And so
Yeah,
they're growing old numerically and as far as age is concerned.
mm-hmm.
But when it comes to to wising up, they're still in the teens. So just adding to that, man. It's
Yeah.
very
No, of course.
excellent.
I,
So I don't know. Do you have any other point on your side over there that you want to jump add in? Because I think that was excellent. You
yeah,
wanna-
there are things coming to me as you talk. You
Mm.
always ignite ideas and thoughts in my mind as you go along. So I want to say this. You made a statement about all men are dogs.
Yeah, that's
Some women say that. And I would
yeah.
say to you, all men are dogs because all women are bad testers.
Mm.
You see? Shame on women during the testing time. I'm sorry, mommy, you will never stop being a tester.
Mm-hmm.
You should test your man before you are married. And in marriage, your job is to test his dreams, his
Mm.
visions.
Wow.
And I hope that we have a chance in another one of these sessions to talk about that in the
That would
future.
be great to talk about that for
Yeah.
sure.
So uh, please remember you're testing, but do not throw the baby out with the bathwater. So your testing should not be destructive. I want to say that one of the things that the manufacturer, I should say the biggest thing he says is that a woman should respect and submit to her husband. If you over test and if you test destructively without limits, then you destroy that submission part.
Mm.
And there's nothing worse to a man than a
Mm-hmm.
lady who is not respectful of him
Mm-hmm.
or submitted to him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying this from my experience or my knowledge. I'm saying this is what the manufacturer has written. He could have said many things, and of all that he says, respect and honor your husband, submit to your husband. And he said your own husband to not somebody else's husband, not another person's husband, your own husband. Submit and respect your husband. If you overtest, you are going to destroy that principle. And so you have to be careful not to be destructive. So you want to test the guy to see if he's patient. Don't take a pistol and hit him in the leg with a bullet.
Yeah.
Don't kill his dog
Wow.
to see how he reacts when he's angry. Don't key his car.
Don't put sugar in the tank now.
Don't put sugar in the tank. You see? Because when you do this, you might have crossed a threshold. And you might gain disrespect and a disrespectful attitude. And if a man turns, or I could say when a man turns against you, that is one of the hardest things to correct. Once a man turns his heart against you, many times when men cheat, it's because their hearts are turned. Their heart is hardened. I can show you where the manual says that the husband should love their wives and not be bitter against them. Manufacturer warns us, don't get bitter against your wife. Because when that time comes, you cannot turn that person's heart back. It is very hard. They will leave. The next two will never forgive again. You see? So you don't want to go beyond the point of return. Now, I'm not going to take up for men and don't say that some men that are bitter and hard right now, they cause that on their own selves by not knowing how to handle their wives, not knowing how to treat them, not knowing how to love them. And they don't like the reflection they're getting.
Yeah.
They think that it's the wife that's bad. They don't understand it's their very reflection they are watching. And so they get bitter. But I just want to say that testing should not be destructive. It should not be harmful. Don't go and curse out the guy's mother or his father.
Wow, yeah. Don't do that.
You know?
Yeah.
I think they call them what they I'm trying to remember what they call it, but instead of saying mother-in-law, they say some kind of thing that like it's I don't remember the term, yeah. But it's like the mother-in-law is from hell.
Oh my God.
Yeah, don't curse out your guy's mother-in-law.
Yeah,
and
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think what I hear you say is don't test destructively, test definitively.
Yeah.
Don't test destructively, test definitively in terms of. And I guess I have a quick question with that. Like you, so you talked about the virtue of patience. What is a definitive parameter that she can use, or is there some? Does she wait for life? Does she wait for this life to happen as they're dating, or does she? Can she be more intentional about what can she do intentionally to definitively see his patience level?
Yeah, the best time to test someone is when they're not aware you're testing.
Right.
You see? So your job is to be observant. This is what dating is for. You're not dating, and I always say this, and it might sound funny, but dating is not to rub and scrub. You see? It's not for that.
Yeah.
You can do that, and it feels good. But that is not what dating is for. Dating is your opportunity. Dating should be good. You should be happy dating. But it's not about being happy. That is the time that you observe. The time you can spend, as much time you can spend around, that is the time to observe. You can test patience by listening to what other people say about him. Listen to what his mother say, his boss, his co-workers. They're going to give you a side of him. And you can listen for patience. This is not destructive where you can say, come pick me up at 5. And you stay at work until 6. And you come back out and he's not there. He's angry and he left. Was he being patient? He could have called and say, what's happening? Do you need more time? I can go and do something else. Some people are time is something that's very important to them, more than others. And so, you have to give a little bit that, because some people are very serious about their time. But I'm saying that is not destructive where you have damaged something.
I like that.
You simply took a little extra time at work, maybe an hour and a half, an hour.
Very good.
You see, if you came out 5 minutes late and he's all up in arms, then give him his walking papers. Seriously. Because you see, when you finish testing, and women need to hear this, whenever you test a product, all products that come out, they test them. If it's a car, they drive them. If you even take the car to the mechanic, when he's finished with it, he tests that car. Certain things have to be working. You don't put it in the customer's hand without making sure those things are working. Those things are in place. The oil level is correct. One place in our country, I went there and I was surprised that I saw them washing the engine of the car, the inside the engine. And I'm like, but that's a brand new car. Why are you doing that? It's a brand new car, and yet they get a power washer and wash the engine completely down. You see? So after you test something, you will either mark it passed or fail. And if the product fails, you don't give it to the customer.
Nope.
So if a man fails your test, why are you still with him? He needs to get back into the manufacturing plant and adjust some screws.
Yeah.
You see?
It's good. It's good. I like
Yeah.
that. I like that. Very, very, very excellent. Nah, and I was very, I like how you brought it into some life context in terms of that practical example of the time and waiting, and that's some of the things we want to kind of unpack and give as we go into this segment, sir. So do you have anything else there in your notepad? Do you have anything else in Mr. Arthur's encyclopedia when it comes to go ahead.
Yeah, of course. I'd like to say finally that kind of closing, that women, don't be ashamed, don't be afraid, don't be selfish with yourself by not testing. Test generously. Don't be hasty with yourself. Give yourself time. To test certain things, take time. You bring out a new product. There are products that have been there for maybe 5 years, and they're not given to the public because they want to see what happens in 5 years, how it behaves. You see? There are products, if you go to like the vehicles in Tesla, some vehicles have been promised 4 or 5 years ago. They drove the prototype on the stage. It works. They had people driving around in them and amazed at the speed and the power and the takeoff. And we still have not gotten a vehicle yet. They're just starting to ship now, and not in high quantity, because there had to be testing. You do not feel bad for testing. Testing ensures, or it tries to help you to ensure that you're getting a great product. Don't settle for less and complain after. Don't jump off the springboard and complain that you don't see any water. You don't see anything sparkling back at you in the sun.
Right.
And when you land and a part of you is bruised or broken, you have to partially say to yourself, I should have looked before I jumped. Now, shame on the people that rented you the pool. It should have water. But you can check. You don't have to jump before you check. That is basic. You check and there's no water, don't jump. If the man doesn't have water, don't get with him. So testing, all these have been encouragement for you. It might sound negative sometimes or many times. And you might say, as someone said to me one time, look, with those standards, there's nobody out here that is capable of getting married. And that might be true, but if you continue to accept mediocrity, then nobody will change.
Yeah, the status quo will not be challenged. And I think
that's right.
That's what we're saying here. And I definitely appreciate that we need to be challenging the status quo when it comes to dating, marriage, relationship. That
yes,
definitely needs to be raised. Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
I think one thing I want to say as I finish off here is as we conclude, I love the example that you use with the Tesla and the car. And I remember some years ago Toyota had to do a major recall on a car. I can't remember what specific model, but I remember the problem. I think the accelerator was sticking. It was these cableless accelerators, I think, with the chip in the engine head and then in the pedal.
Drive by wire.
Yeah, it wasn't working by, yeah, it was, I think it was like almost like wireless or something like that, right? And
Yeah.
so they had to do a major recall because a few people I think were getting in accidents or having problem with it. It was sticking.
Right.
And you know, probably it wasn't tested well. I mean, we don't know, but but that example that you raised, when Tesla is taking so long and companies take so long to test a product, it's because it will benefit the company in the longer run.
Right.
If company does not do extensive testing, it's going to cost them
That's right.
not just monetary in terms of having to maybe lawsuits or compensation, it's
Mm-hmm.
going to cost them their reputation.
Yeah.
It's gonna cost them that rep that they had. It's gonna hurt it, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So people probably will still buy in the future, but there's always gonna be, hey, remember that one time? Their track record and their reputation is going to be marred. So
Yeah.
my point is you benefit in testing. You
Mm-hmm.
you are
Mm-hmm.
going to benefit
Mm-hmm.
as the woman in the longer run if you do extensive testing, if you do definitive testing, not
Yeah.
destructive testing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if you are patient, the manufacturer says haste makes waste in Proverbs, like don't do that, like don't
Mm-hmm.
rush. It tends to waste. So you know, as we
Mm-hmm.
conclude, we hope that this was encouraging for you. We hope this was educating for you. Um and yeah, Mr. Arthurs, I don't know any final comments on your answer.
No, I'm good. I get again. You're provoking me to another topic. When
Oh
you talk
boy.
about testing, because the manufacturer testing is similar to the man doing the test. And so, speaking to men, you can test yourself. You don't have to wait for a woman to tell you that you're lacking in some areas.
Mm,
You want to give her the best product.
mm,
And so you can test yourself. You don't have to wait for a woman to test you. How are you doing in these areas that women should be testing for? Because they will not damage you.
mm-hmm,
You know, if you're patient, that doesn't damage your relationship. That doesn't damage you. That helps your relationship.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
You know, if you have a job, that doesn't damage your relationship. You
mm-hmm,
know, the things that we are encouraging women to test men for, if the man comes with these things, they will probably never have a bad relationship. They will probably only have one relationship
mm-hmm.
for their lifetime.
Wow.
You know, I have only had 2 relationships. My first wife, uh, in childbirth passed,
Mm,
and now I'm with this wife, and I
mm-hmm,
plan to only have these 2 relationships for the rest of my life. You know,
mm-hmm,
while
mm-hmm,
we have some rabid men out there saying that they want to have a child with as much woman as they can.
mm-hmm. Hmm.
You know, that's a problem.
Yeah, I think it would be great at some point if we can practically list some of those things that guys can, like I want to call it a gentleman's checklist, if I can say that for right
Yeah,
now.
nice,
All
nice.
right, but you know, I think our time is out for today, and I
Mm-hmm.
think though, I think we've had a very thoughtful and provoking discussion today when it comes to um women and preparing for relationships and marriage in the dating process. Remember the eagle. She was not shy to raise that branch, the weight of an eaglet, more than one time, multiple times, to test that male eagle to make sure he's a quality eagle that she can partner with, that he can provide and protect in raising their eaglet. Guys, this has
Mm-hmm.
been Marriage Matters, guys and gals, and guys. Until next time, I am Shane, and on the other side,
I'm Sylburn.
Sylburn Arthurs, and we're out, guys.
Take
Blessings.
care.